or flood on act of God, as it says. This legislation is a legislation which I think with a heart, with compassion. Because what it says, and this is what we have done with the reform, we are putting in a provision that says if you are in financial hardship, the valuation division of the Ministry of Finance will take that into account, and if they are satisfied that that financial hardship puts you in a position that you cannot meet your taxes over the year, over the entire year, they will defer the tax until you transfer the tax by sale, by property by sale, at which time you have to pay like how you pay water rates and so on if it's outstanding, or even if you give it to a child of yours and that child is in the same kind of circumstance, that child inherits it, and it's the same situation of financial hardship. Similarly, you can make a case that does not apply now. But I want to say we must not mix up financial hardship with not the flow. You know, having a cable or going on a trip abroad and so on. Remember, we have to meet certain commitments every month, and some of them are your electricity bill, your water bill, and that's one of them. It's not a new tax. It's something that we all have to pay and have had to pay. The difference is that you will also get an opportunity to pay it over the entire year, which does not obtain again. Again, this is a reform we're talking about. It's not just a question of the compassion with persons facing financial hardship, and you have to establish that, but also we allow you to pay it over the entire year. We allow you to prepay it, something you cannot do under the current legislation. Yes. And so that when you speak about the forfeiture, you know, I've heard it said, and I want to clear this up, when we hear the conversation out there, it's as if it is a new provision forfeiture by the state. It is in the legislation right now. It is the right of the state. In every country, in all Commonwealth jurisdictions, you will find, or common law jurisdictions, this provision, the right of the state to forfeit lands. And therefore, it is not a new provision. The difference in this provision is that before we go to distraining or distress, which is a legal term to go and seize assets of your property to pay the outstanding taxes, before we go to distrain on your property, before we go to the ultimate of forfeiture, under this new legislation, you get an opportunity to make a case of financial hardship, which does not currently apply.
Okay. So it's not true to say, given all that you've said, Minister, that the already, well, this is another concern, already overburdened middle class will be further burdened by this property tax reform.
Well, you know, it's all a question of perception, huh? And you know, I would be, I could give you so many examples with that that I would want to probably disagree on that. For instance, the central bank did looked at the average cost of a home in Trinidad and Tobago, and it averages between 825 to 850,000. Don't know if persons may not remember. Remember, a budget is a continuum of. It's not one. You don't treat it in discrete. It's a discrete fiscal measure, yes, and a fiscal accounting period, but it builds on things you would have done. So to answer that, last year we introduced the stamp duty that you don't pay stamp duty on any property valued under 850,000. So you are stamp duty free for any property. Any property under, when I say not any property, with the value of properties under $850,000, you pay no stamp duty. But you have to remember the whole number of initiatives this government has implemented for the benefit of all persons in Trinidad and Tobago, including the middle class. We have our education. I challenge persons to find countries in this, in any country where you pay the kind of tax we pay. The cap is 25%, and for persons earning incomes less than 60,000, they don't pay any income tax at all. You find that we offer a number of social benefits, and I can list them, and they benefit not only those who are of lesser means, but also all of us. Whether you are middle class or not, you get the benefit of CDAP. Whether you are middle class or not, you get the benefit of what all of us aspire to, education for our children, but the nursery, the tertiary, and at the secondary level. Whether you're middle class or not, you get free books. Whether you're middle class or not, you get not only free books, but you get free meals if your child wishes that meal. There's no determination on whether you are entitled based on your means. If you request it, you will get the meal. So there are a number of benefits that we must remember that we all enjoy, whether middle class or not, that this government has, and it does affect your final bill at the end of the month. And I'm now remembering to, of course, you look at your subsidy on electricity and subsidy on water and so on. So that one has to look at things in a holistic perspective and to make that statement. And as I want to say, and I want to to reinforce this is not a new tax. I mean, San Fernando has been paying it. San Fernando has been paying it. Point 14 has been paying it. Chaguanas has been paying it, albeit at a lower assessed value. But in real terms, there are areas in this country that have been paying the taxes, and so that it's not something new. What we're trying to do, and I want to reinforce that, we are trying to bring what we consider to be equity across the board, so that regardless of where you live in Trinidad and Tobago, when it comes to your residential, we all pay the same 3%.
Finally, I know you touched on some of the benefits, but the benefits that will, out of the new system, that will come out of the proposed property tax reform.
Well, I mean, apart from the fact that you're allowed to prepay and pay over a period of time, apart from the fact that we take cognizance of financial hardship, which does not currently obtain, and apart from that, one of the things I know a lot of people complain about, and if you want to be very straightforward about it, sometimes some of that tax was considered a nuisance tax for some people because it was so minimal.
Yes.
Especially when it was dealing with just the land. When you just had land, you're paying $10 an acre. But